It is hard to argue that The Undertaker hasn't left a remarkable legacy in the world of professional wrestling, especially when it comes to WrestleMania. With classic matches against CM Punk, Edge and Triple H, as well as horrendous matches against the Big Boss Man and Giant Gonzalez, The Undertaker will forever be synonymous with WrestleMania more than any other wrestler. Yes, even Hulk Hogan. Considering how many times he's competed at the show of shows, it won't come as a surprise to hear that many wrestlers were at one point scheduled to face the Deadman at the grandest stage of them all, but for one reason or another it never took place. At least not at WrestleMania. Welcome to Lace 'Em Up Media, and here are 10 rejected WrestleMania opponents for The Undertaker. Number 10. Hayden Vanson. If you're currently wondering who the hell Hayden Vanson is, then that's not too surprising, as his time in the WWE was the epitome of blink and you miss it. On the December 12, 2008 edition of Friday Night SmackDown, Vanson was seen cutting a cryptic promo where he said, "Now the prophecy will be realized." This ultimately didn't go anywhere, and by January of 2009, Vanson was released. So, what the heck happened? According to Scooby-Doo actor Freddie Prinze Jr., who also was on the WWE creative team for a brief period of time, pitched where Vanson would lead an evil band of X-Men-inspired villains with the end goal seeing Vanson and Taker battling at WrestleMania 25. According to Prinze, the idea was chastised by Triple H, who questioned how someone like Vanson could ever realistically be a threat to the near 7-foot, 300-pound Undertaker. Hunter also remarked that, "He looks like he cuts my grass, man." To which Vince McMahon chuckled at the comment, and thus, all the air went out of the room, according to Freddie Prinze. With no other plans in place, Hayden wasn't seen or heard again on WWE programming and soon was let go by the following year. Instead, The Undertaker faced Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania, which many described as the greatest WrestleMania match of all time. Well, you can't argue with that. Number 9. Vladimir Kozlov. In March of 2023, The Undertaker revealed to BT Sports' Ariel Helwani some of the stars Vince considered as possible names to break the undefeated streak. Edge was one of those names, but the Rated R superstar refused, knowing how much of a cornerstone Undertaker's undefeated record was to WrestleMania. Another name that Taker mentioned was Vladimir Kozlov, the Ukrainian-born faux Russian who was pushed heavily in 2008 with an unbeaten streak in singles matches for nearly 12 months and even competed for the WWE Championship at Survivor Series 2008. While Taker never went into the reasons why Kozlov was dropped as a potential breaker of the streak, it probably had something to do with Kozlov being incredibly green in the ring, and thus HBK would be the guy to face the Deadman at WrestleMania. Again, smart decision by the WWE creative team. Number 8. Snitsky and Heidenreich. In 2005, plans were being made for Kane and The Undertaker, aka the Brothers of Destruction, to battle the team of Gene Snitsky and John Heidenreich, a team of two uncharismatic musclemen who could be seen as the poster boys for WWE's weird mid-2000s booking ideas. As part of a program between The Undertaker and Heidenreich, the two competed at the 2005 Royal Rumble in a casket match. During the bout, Snitsky, still fairly fresh from punting Lita's unborn baby, interfered and attacked The Undertaker until Kane evened the odds, emerging from the casket to incapacitate Snitsky, with whom he had been feuding with. The spot seemed to set up a clash between the two teams at WrestleMania 21, but it was never blown off outside of two live show encounters. The match was apparently vetoed by The Undertaker, with Bruce Pritchard even noting many years later how the matches between Heidenreich and Taker stunk to high heaven. If you saw them, it would take you weeks to get that stink out of your clothes. Ultimately, Kane and Taker would be better off in their respective matches at the event, with the Deadman wrestling Randy Orton in a landmark match for the young legend killer, while Kane would take part in the inaugural Money in the Bank ladder match. Number 7. Ted DiBiase Jr. Although DiBiase and The Undertaker seemed to have minimal involvement with one another during their WWE runs, apparent plans were in place for the future leader of the DiBiase posse to actually end the streak. Yes, really. According to various sources, DiBiase was indeed pitched as a potential opponent at WrestleMania 26 in 2010. A natural storyline could have unfolded, with the young rookie trying to beat the long-serving veteran first introduced into the WWF by his father 20 years earlier. Instead, DiBiase along with Cody Rhodes lost to Randy Orton in the forgettable three-way match at WrestleMania before eventually turning babyface and going into a steep decline within his career right up until his departure in the mid-2010s. Number 6. Braun Strowman. Fans were initially underwhelmed and unimpressed upon the debut of Braun Strowman on the main roster in late 2015. Seen as another lumbering, untrained big man, Strowman did little to impress the fanbase and was seen as the fourth wheel of the Wyatt family. Fans were even more unimpressed when WWE appeared to be building to a WrestleMania 32 match between Taker and Strowman in the face of a number of teased standoffs. Perhaps unsurprisingly, the match was allegedly pushed by Vince McMahon, but whether it was due to Taker refusing to work with Braun or a large swell of fan backlash, it never occurred. Ironically, within a few years, fans would pull a complete 180 after Strowman became one of the most over acts in the WWE during the late 2010s. Number 5. Drew McIntyre. At the start of his career, the Scottish-born wrestler was seen as the future of the WWE, but he never quite broke out of the mid-card, with the nadir of his first run seeing him become a member of the 3MB along with Heath Slater and Jinder Mahal. Before all of that, however, plans were being made for McIntyre to square off with the Deadman at WrestleMania 26. Apparently, Drew was originally scheduled to win the match until this decision was changed, due to the result being deemed too predictable. Drew admits that the idea to cancel the match was wise, although he notes in his autobiography that he never knew of the plans to face Taker at the time. McIntyre adds that he was happy enough to compete in the Money in the Bank ladder match which took place at Mania. These two would face off in singles action on the March 19, 2010 edition of Friday Night SmackDown, and again at Extreme Rules 2019 in a tag team match, also including Roman Reigns and Shane McMahon. Number 4. Wade Barrett. Another promising star who could have wrestled The Undertaker at the showcase of the Immortals, until plans changed. At Bragging Rights 2010, the Nexus helped Kane bury The Undertaker, with the reason being to sow the seeds for a WrestleMania match with Nexus leader Wade Barrett and the Deadman. Not only that, but on the Raw 900 special episode, the Nexus attacked Taker with Barrett and Justin Gabriel hitting their finishers on the former world champion. With The Undertaker apparently eyeing retirement in 2011, you think Barrett would be a great pick to end the streak. Unfortunately, this was rejected by Vince McMahon, who felt that the British brawler was unsuited for the accolade. Add in the fact that Barrett's stock had declined after feuds with John Cena and Randy Orton, plus his role as the leader of the Core further proved that point. Instead of breaking the streak, Barrett along with the rest of the Core lost a sub-minute match to the ragtag team of Santino, Kofi Kingston, Kane and Big Show at WrestleMania 27. Number 3. Abyss. By 2006, Abyss's contract with TNA Wrestling was expiring, and the WWE reportedly had their eyes set on bringing him into the fold. John Laurinaitis, then head of talent relations, reportedly offered Abyss an immediate main event push with a scheduled Mania match against The Undertaker at WrestleMania 23. Jim Ross has commented that original plans were in place for Abyss to debut in the 2007 Royal Rumble, thus setting up a feud with The Undertaker, who ended up winning the Rumble. However, Abyss decided to re-sign with TNA and stayed with the promotion until early 2018, where he joined the WWE as a producer. Chris Parks, the man behind the Abyss character, has since reflected on his decision, saying that he had no regrets and that he wanted to stay loyal to the company as TNA was producing a solid product by the mid to late 2000s. Number 2. Kurt Angle. After successfully defending his newly won World Heavyweight Championship against Mark Henry, The Undertaker returned at the 2006 Royal Rumble when he scared the Olympic gold medalist by shooting lightning bolts out of his hands, which collapsed the ring. Cheesy as it was, the hype, which continued on SmackDown, was designed to position Angle as Taker's next WrestleMania opponent. But that's not quite how things went down. Instead, Kurt Angle defended his World Heavyweight title at WrestleMania 22 in a triple threat match against Randy Orton and eventual winner Rey Mysterio. Meanwhile, The Undertaker had one of his less memorable matches at Mania, defeating Mark Henry in an unremarkable casket match. During an interview for Power Slam magazine in 2011, Taker had pitched the idea of Angle breaking the streak, but Vince McMahon put the kibosh on the idea, not wanting Taker in possession of the belt in that time frame, whilst also being hesitant to break the streak despite Undertaker's willingness. The two instead competed at No Way Out 2006 in a genuine match of the year contender, which Kurt Angle called one of the best matches that anyone's ever done. The two would never face each other again, as Angle would jump ship to TNA in one of the biggest defections in all of modern wrestling. Number 1. Sting. Come on. You knew we had to bring this one up. In terms of dream matches in pro wrestling, Few are bigger than the much-discussed Icon versus Icon match between Sting and The Undertaker. Sadly, like all of the other entries on this list, it didn't happen despite the window of opportunity coming not once but twice. In 2011, The Undertaker ended up wrestling Triple H in the duo's second encounter at WrestleMania in what was unquestionably the best match of the whole night. However, the original idea saw the WWE hyping the arrival of someone on Raw with the vignettes labeled 221 and 11. Sting, who was signed with TNA Wrestling since 2006, was by this point a free agent, and many speculated that the former WCW champion would make his way to the WWE. However, those plans fell through, and the identity of the mysterious person was revealed to be The Undertaker. So why did plans fall through? Well, during a 2011 interview to the Daily Star, Sting mentioned his refusal was due to the WWE's treatment of WCW stars, saying that, "Something in me never trusted what would happen up there, based entirely on the track record with other WCW guys and everything that went on after Vince bought WCW. Considering how his first match, never mind his entire run, turned out as part of the WWE, Sting was absolutely right." The second time in which a Taker vs. Sting match could have occurred was at WrestleMania 31, but again the match didn't happen. Instead, Taker defeated Bray Wyatt in a decent match while Sting lost to Triple H in a match that WWE was not so subtly built as the final victory for WWE over WCW, despite World Championship Wrestling being dead for 14 years by that point. Undertaker has since commented that the match wouldn't have been what fans had hyped it up to be. Maybe the plans were better on paper, or the bout itself could have been good given their respective ages. With both men completely retired from in-ring competition, this is one dream match that will sadly never happen, especially at WrestleMania. And that's our list. Which of these wrestlers do you wish had a match with The Undertaker at WrestleMania? Leave your thoughts down below in the comments section. Don't forget to follow us on our socials, both on X and Bluesky Social, to be updated on all of our new content.